Hello and welcome to the Hotseat, your program brought to you by MNL, Next Generation Sports. This is the platform that brings you all that is volleyball. And today I'm joined by two gentlemen, that is Godknows Jembere from Harare City, the club manager, and also Jonathan Gava, the Secretary General of UZ Wolves. And today we want to confront the chaos bedeviling the Harare Premier Volleyball League, matches, rescheduling, and communication breakdown. Welcome to the program, Jonathan.
Thank you, Mr. Manguiro.
And welcome to the program, Godknows.
Thank you, Mr. Manguiro.
And yes, my name is Thomas Manguiro, and just a brief background to the problems rocking the Harare Premier Volleyball League. And here, on the 13th and 13 to 14 September, matches were postponed due to the funeral of the former HVA chairperson Shadrach Jembere. May his soul rest in peace. And on 16 September, the HVA announced that no fixtures will be played as the teams had registered to play in the Midlands Volleyball Association beach tournament, and clubs protested to that decision. And then on 18 September, games were restored with Manyame and UZ set as the venues for 20 and 21 September respectively. And on 21 September, UZ Wolves were not available for their matches at Manyame, but rather on 20 September. And on 21 September, they were available for their matches at UZ. On 20 September, they cited transport challenges as the communication to restore the matches had been communicated late. And on 4 October, HVA announces dates for bracket matches as 18 and 19 September. 11 to 12 October, there was the Pink Top tournament. On 17 October, a letter from HVA chairperson Clemens, the chairperson from HVA with the subject, miscommunication between HVA and all its stakeholders and affiliates. He was apologizing for the miscommunication that has been taking place in the association, resulting in delays in circulating relevant information on the time. And on 18 to 19 October, bracket matches for men were played and women matches were cancelled as Black Mambas and Harare City cited the change of fixtures as the reason they could not fulfill the fixture. The walkovers for UZ Wolves. At first at Manyame, the HVA said UZ did not come for matches and Harare City and Black Mambas were awarded the matches. But later on, the HPVL turned down their earlier decision, saying the matches were supposed to go ahead. Gava, what was the reason for UZ Wolves not coming to Manyame?
Mr. Manguiro, you know, we're a reputable club and we always attend to all our matches. We are serious about volleyball, so we always make sure we do the right thing. And as you well articulated, HVA had cancelled the games. Only for clubs to say, no, you cannot cancel our games because of Midlands. HVA clubs were citing the time frame from then to Zone 6 games. If you check our calendar, it's already booked up to the week we travel for Zone 6. So the clubs demanded to have those games. HVA was adamant and they still refused to play the games until on the Thursday before the games. They then said, we'll have the games and we have them at Manyame, which we then said, we cannot play those games because we are not available. What were we using? The HVA rules and regulations. So if you read the HVA rules and regulations, they say a club is allowed to ask for a postponement 7 days before the matches. So what does it say? HVA must publish its fixture more than 7 days for us to request for postponement. So, since they produce a fixture on a Thursday, we had every ground to ask for a postponement. And we did. And we were granted that postponement. So we were actually surprised that we were walked over, which I'm sure we then wrote to HVA to say, why is there a walkover against our teams? Because we asked for a postponement and it was granted.
But the reason was it that the matches were announced late, or you were not comfortable with the venue Manyami? Because on the following Sunday, after the Saturday, you were available for your matches.
Okay, it's to do with our own protocols at UZ. We can only book for transport 5 days before, if it's in Harare, and 2 weeks before if it's out of Harare. So booking transport a day before was a non-starter for us. So we were available at our venue because there was no need for us to book transport and food. But outside UZ, it was a non-starter for us.
And Godknows, you were awarded a walkover on the day at Manyami, but later on you were advised that the matches were reinstated. How did that affect your team, and why did you not go ahead and play the matches?
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Yeah, you see, from the onset, there was the communication was not that very good from the association. We find it not be possible for us to go and play less than 24 hours to the match. Remember, it was on a Friday when you get the letter saying that we are going to play, to replay UZ. So our game plan, everything, we were preparing to play the knockout stages, but 24 hours before the match. So we found it not possible for our team to just have a swift, just a change. You know, we were training the whole week, focusing on playing Raven. Then all of a sudden, 24 hours into the match, Harare City are going to replay UZ.
But are you not putting your executive against the wall? First it was UZ, the second time it's Mampas and Harare City.
I wouldn't want to take it that way, but we all need things to be done in the proper way. UZ, like what Gava said, he was very right. In the first place, there should be enough ample time to communicate the fixtures. But the first time they communicated on a Thursday, going into a weekend, Gava has got his own reasons. He is justifiable to that. I can support him. Then the same happened also to us. So there is no ample time for the communications towards the matches. So what they have to do, I think, is to go by the rule book, is to communicate to the clubs well in time. Otherwise, us as clubs, we know what we are supposed to do, we know what we should do, and we have been always abiding to that.
And folks,
Yes.
is there a relationship between the clubs and the HVA executive, or it is broken down?
There is a relationship, and this is why we are proceeding to play the knockout stages. Because for us, we said if other teams do not want to play us, and if other teams want to say those are walkovers, we'll accept it, but under certain conditions. Because we said, look here, if we don't play, it means we are not going to finish the league. So HVA will look bad. So this is not our policy, as you said. We should always, we want our players to play. So we agreed to play under certain conditions. One, which was HVA must apologize to UZ for publishing those walkovers, which were never there in the first place. And they did that. So we said, well, now we can play. We have no problem with that.
Yeah, viewers, if you are just joining us, these are the two gentlemen joining us today on the Hotseat program, where we discuss nothing but volleyball. And we are going away for a few minutes, and when we come back, we'll be continuing with our discussion. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the second segment of this program, the Hot Seat, brought to you by MNL, Next Generation Sports. My name is Thomas Mangwiro, and today I'm being joined by two gentlemen from Harare City, that is Godknows Jembere, the club administrator, and Jonathan Gava, the secretary general of UZ Godknows. How does rescheduling of matches affect your team?
Yeah, you know what, Mr. Mangwiro, when we prepare, you prepare obviously knowing that our game plan, we are planning to play A, B, C, D against the team which we are going to play with. So it really affects us, the momentum and everything, to really take us back. Not only that, remember, when we play such big teams, UZ, Mambas, we had to put a lot of resources in planning towards those matches. So it affects us from even financially. You know, that week we had to hire those trainers, those psychologists to try and shape the team against our opponent. But all of a sudden, it's changed.
And Jonathan, do you think it is sustainable for teams to have rescheduled matches every time? For your logistics, how does that affect your logistics?
Wow, it's difficult. It's really sad. Rescheduling, like Mr. Jembere said, there's financial implications. There is traveling. There is a lot of things. Coaching. It's just a big task to reschedule. So this is why again. When we talk to HVA, we agreed to play, because if we had not agreed, it meant we were still going to play those games with ample time. So maybe it was going to take 2 weeks for us, given when you consider the rules and regulations. So it meant we were still going to play those games next week. So then we wouldn't. So rescheduling is really difficult, and it's not good. I think that is why again the chairman, HVA chairman, he had to apologize, to say, no guys, we can't continue rescheduling and playing it like this.
And you said you agreed to go ahead with the bracket matches after HVA met certain conditions.
Yes.
Are they still in charge, or you are taking them for a ride?
I am not taking them for a ride. The choice was theirs, to accept or not to accept. but I cannot, like for example, I cannot be fined for those walkovers, because if you are walked over, it means you have to pay a fine. So I cannot be forced to pay a fine for an offense that I did not commit. So those conditions, it was up to them to take or to leave. And
you beat them on a technicality.
The rules and regulations. There are rules and regulations. Yeah.
And Godknows, looking at all this, is the HVA executive still in charge?
Mr. Mangwiro, yeah, they are in charge. They are in charge, and we are fully behind them and support them. We understand that at times there might be some errors, there might be some reluctance, there might be some miscommunication. But we know we are the ones who are supposed to support them. We support them, we resolve issues, and we definitely move on.
But reading between the lines, that letter the chairperson wrote, that is Clemens Musua, apologizing. Do you think he was talking about miscommunication between the HVA and the clubs, or it was this disharmony in the executive?
Yeah, we might not be maybe pushed to think beyond the letter, but we just have to accept the letter as it is, and the author is the chairperson. Otherwise, we just have to take the letter as it is and accept the apology wouldn't want to try and dig deep why the letter comes in such a time, why the letter is now coming from the chairperson, or other correspondents usually come from the SG. No, those are issues that we would not want to dig deep into, but we just accept the letter as it is, and also accept the association's apology.
Jonathan, in reference to the mandate given to the Harare Volleyball Association executive, do you think they are still in line with the mandate given to them?
Well, I have respect for the chairman, I have respect for the SG, I have respect for the LOC chairman as well. We are always communicating. But I am not sure where our vice chairman, the vice chairman is. He hasn't been visible. So I think some of the problems are coming in because the vice chairman is not there. So he should lead. He should show that he's the director of competitions and the other one director of development. So that those people should be visible. So I think that's where we have a lot of issues.
Do you think they still have grip on their constituents? Because if you see, one of the reasons they cited for postponing the matches was that teams had registered in another constituency, the Midva, to play there and postpone their matches.
Well, personally, I don't think it was a bad decision to postpone for Midva, because we don't live in an isolated place. But what they should have done was to plan adequately, advise clubs in time. They can't, we were preparing for those games. And I think it was only Tuesday when they said we are no longer playing. So clubs said, no, we've been preparing for these games. They knew before. Because I think that advert for Mid was flighted, I think 2-3 weeks before that. So they should have said, we want to do this and this and this. So to cancel games within the 7-day period is against the rules and regulations. So those rules and regulations are not only meant for clubs, but for HVA as well. So they had no right to cancel. So I think some people within HVA, they do not even understand that there are rules and regulations. So that becomes problematic to all of us.
Well, viewers, this was the second part of our episode of the Hotseat, where we are talking about the chaos in the HVA, in the HPVL, to be specific. We are going away for a few minutes, and when we come back, we will be discussing about the teams used at halls in Harare City, their preparations for the Harare Premier Volleyball League, bracket matches, and also the quarterfinals of the ZPVL. Stay tuned. Welcome viewers to the third and final segment of this Hotseat program, proudly brought to you by MNL, Next Generation Sports, where this is the platform where we talk about volleyball. And today I'm being joined by Godknows Jembere of Harare City, and also Jonathan Gava of Use It Wolves. And now I would have wanted to have people from the Harare Volleyball Association, but due to other commitments, they could not join us. But as it is, we have dissected the issue. And now talking about the teams, Godknows, Harare City, they are the HPVL bracket matches restored proper, and you also have the ZPVL, we are in the quarterfinals. And there's also the Zone 6 in December in Pretoria, or rather Polokwane. It seems there is a new sheriff in town, Ravenclaw. How are you preparing to deal with the situation?
Yeah, sure. Ravenclaw has been playing very well from day one. But like always, if you look at the pattern of Harare City, from the inception of the club, we've been topping or maybe position 3, position 2. So we are trying our best to prepare so that we put our best to the match and possibly proceed to the finals, both in the provincial league as well as the national league. So we are leaving no stone unturned. Our preparations, we've geared up. We've now intensified our trainings. All our preparations are now. We usually trained 2 days a week all along, but now we are now training the whole week. Again, as well as preparing to get into the camp for Zone 6. So we have an advantage that we've already started to intensify our preparations. I'm sure Gava has done us a good job by pushing these matches away. Otherwise, these 2 weeks give us an advantage to perfect our preparations. So we are taking that match as it comes.
And Jonathan, you are also in the technical team for UZ Host. You were used to Harare City support unit challenging you, but this year it was different altogether. There is Black Mambas and Ravenclaw. How are you dealing with the new kids on the block?
Maybe I'll repeat what I said to you earlier in Mutare when we met for Zimbabwe. I said the first part of the year, my team will not be ready for Mambas, but I'm sure it will be different by the end of the year. So I will stick to those words, that it will be different. Yes, we had challenges within the team, trying to create new players. As you know, Ravens took almost the former UZ team. So we were creating new talent, and I think that we've done a good job, and we can deliver. So in the HPVL, we are still on course, but probably the challenge is having penalties, because we've been playing for the past 2 weekends, and last week we're in Leaague, this coming week Harare, the other week Harare, the other week games again. So playing against, honestly, I don't think playing City, Ravens, Mambas on the same weekend is a very good idea. It's never a good idea to play all those top 4 teams on the same weekend, and again the following weekend. So those teams are not easy to beat, I tell you. So you really have to put your everything and give it your all. Like he also said, we have also upped our training so that we try and match what City or Mambas are going to give us.
And Godknows, the emergence of new teams like Ravenclaw and also a rejuvenated Black Mambas. How does that help the league and also women volleyball in Zimbabwe at large?
Yeah, I think it's a development that we really welcome. Otherwise, we used to have, it was UZ, Harare City, and support unit. Those were the 3 teams. But if you look closely this year, the teams are now 4. Yeah, it's with the addition of Ravenclaw. You see, it's either way. It's either Raven, either Mambas, either UZ, either City. Any team can just win the match of the day. So it's good for the competition, especially as we are preparing for Zone 6. So we really want such a competition to especially from the same province. You know that from the province to the national league, we go there with that much needed competition. So it's something that we really applaud.
And Jonathan Gava, you have been in the trenches for a very long time. How did the a breaking down of support unit affect the league? One of the powerhouses, we woke up the next morning and hear that there's no longer support unit.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking. It was a heartbreaking moment when we had Sabonito was no longer there. But probably it's also a good thing that the players were absorbed also. So, and also Ravenclaw maybe came up and for the Sabonito were, to use your term, they were mostly bridesmaids to the game. So they would provide a good competition for us to go and play in the finals with City. So
But they won a couple of titles. So
yeah. They were always it was not like a walkover.
Like Arsenal.
Yeah, they were like Arsenal. You'd always really prepare to play support unit. It was not a team that you can just go and play. You would actually plan. Yeah. So it was heartbreaking when we lost support unit.
And God knows, I think you can relate also to this one. Irua came in switching over from Marsh East to Harare. They had two teams, the men's team and the women's team. Earlier in the years, you also had to do away with one of the teams, the men's team, and remain the women. And this time it was Rua, also a council team. In the middle of the season, they had to do away with their women's team. How does that affect the players?
Yeah, it really affects. These youngsters. They love volleyball. They love their sport. So those are platforms that we create for them to compete. It's always been good for them, but unfortunately for some reasons, mainly the financial reasons, we have no option than to downsize and try to manage within the means, within what we have. But it's something that we are not happy with, but we have no option. But given all things are available, being equal, we would want to have both teams so that the players who have the competition and the traveling and those guys love volleyball. Volleyball people are volleyball people, but we cannot maintain. It's not sustainable.
And Jonathan, what are the challenges teams are facing, especially in Zimbabwe volleyball teams?
I think there's only one big challenge: money. It's expensive to run volleyball. It's really expensive. So probably if we could get sponsorship. Remember, we play for handshakes most of the time, so it's really money. But also, I think it's sport administrators. Like my friend Godknows used to always say, you are the coach at the SG at the everything. So it's true. It's because we lack sports administrators. I remember Jembere, Godknows is one of the people who were given the best manager awards when he came in. And because the city was that organized because of him. So I cannot be the SG, I cannot be the coach, I cannot be the manager and get my team so organized. That is not possible. But if we had money in sport, would you have a manager, a coach, an SG taking different roles? So money becomes a challenge for us to be organized. Even when you hear HPV, ZVA, venues, people arguing about venues, where do we play this weekend, we spend the whole week arguing about venues. It's because of money, you see. Yeah.
And to wrap up, your team's preparedness for the upcoming matches, and we didn't also see your the name of UZ who's on the list released by the Zone 6 yesterday. Are we going to see UZ at the Zone 6?
Okay, I'll start with that last one. Yes, you're going to see UZ at Zone 6 in Polokwane. The boys are defending champions, mind you. So they are preparing to defend their trophy, and the girls will be there as well. We are ready. We are prepared for Harare League and the National League in the coming weeks.
Thank you, Jonathan, and to the UZ hosts, faithful, be rest assured that UZ will be there at the Zone 6 in Polokwane. And lastly, Mr. Jembere, any promises to your fans before the end of the year? The window will open just after the ZPVL matches. Are we going to see some additions to your team for Zone 6? You were the winners in 2017, and are you promising to retain the title again?
Yeah, like every manager, every team, we always go to the battle expecting to win. Yes, so we are up for it, and we are looking forward to do our best and possibly defend our title for the provincial league, as well as maintain possibly 10 tables for my friend Gava here. But we are doing well, and we are promising the citizens family that we are doing well. We are doing almost everything to maintain our position both in the provincial league and the national league.
And viewers, this leaves me to thank my two guests, Jonathan Gava and Godknows Jembere, for gracing this program. This was the Hot Seat, your program brought to you by MNL. And as usual, your host, Thomas Mangwiro, where today we talked about Harare Premier Volleyball League. We also talked about the two teams' preparations. It has been a long time, and we are back. We'll be giving you some more programs in the coming weeks. Goodbye for now.